Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. In this episode, I'll give some tips for preparing a resume for freshers. Adding to that, I'll give some tips for interview preparations along with dress code. Without wasting time, let's get started. First of all, let's deal with resume and then tips for the interview. Resume is said to be the first impression of you. As you know, first impression is the best impression. Your resume should be crisp and clear. As you all know, for selecting your resume, the recruiters or the HR uses a software called ATS or Automatic Resume Screening, where they'll give some conditions to that software in order to shortlist your resume. So I'll share some tips. To construct your resume based on that. Tip number 1, make your resume short and sweet rather than in a form of film story. Make your content in the resume straight to the point than elaborate passages. And I would better suggest to use bullet points in order to construct your resume. My advice for every freshers out there is, do not add your weakness and strength in your resume. Why? Because if your recruiter asks you to walk through your CV, then you don't have anything else to share apart from your resume. So all these things that is your weakness or your strength should be mentioned while you are saying about yourself. That would be better, which I guess if you are thinking it should be added in your resume, then you can do as well. I would better suggest to conclude your resume within 3 pages. Tip number 2, font, size and highlights. When you create a resume, try to follow Times New Roman, as that is a professional font, and as far as I know, there is no particular size for creating a resume. But you should always keep in mind that when you write your resume, the font you started from the beginning. For example, if it is 18, then you should follow the same font size throughout your resume till the end. And there shouldn't be having any ups and downs in your resume because that looks ugly. Now, highlights. If you need to highlight your resume, your achievements can be put in the inverted commas to make it bold. That's upon you whether to keep it inside inverted commas or keep it bold. That depends upon you. Tip number 3, format of saving your resume. Your resume can either be saved in format of document, either that is a Word file or in a PDF form. Those two are actually supported by any websites which you are applying for. That is, those two websites will be supported by any job websites. So I would better recommend to save your resume in form of either PDF or Word document. Now coming to the second part, interview tips. Tip number 1, plan your interview. When your resume gets shortlisted, you'll get a call letter for the position and the company you have applied. Once you get that call letter, put a reminder on when and where the interview is going to happen. If you do such kind of things, then you can easily book the tickets and plan your journey accordingly. Now always remember, you should reach your interview venue at least 30 minutes before the interview time. Now when you reach the interview hall or interview venue, make yourself comfortable by sitting somewhere and take 2 to 3 deep breaths such that you'll be more confident for the interview. Now, another important thing is, make sure you have packed all the documents which is required for your interview. Make a checklist such that you'll not fail to take any documents which is needed, and while coming back, if you check the checklist again, you can ensure that you have packed all your documents back in the file without fail, and you can return it safely. Tip number 2, dress code for your interview. Do not wear t-shirts like this or slippers or sandals for your interview. Always carry a pair of formal dress for your interview or either your Skype interview as well. Some of the companies are allowing casual ones as well, but I would better suggest to go for formal dress because that adds an essence of professional feeling. Tip number 3, interview toast. When you enter into the hall where the interview is happening, take a moment to pray. There is nothing to lose by doing that. Now I'll give some tips or I'll give some basic guidelines when you enter into the interview hall. When you sit in front of the recruiter, try not to cross your leg or keep your hands on your desk. That plays a villain for your interview, and these all things will be the second impression after your. When interview kicks off, keep an eye contact and a smile on your face. Let me remind you that smile should be a smile of confidence rather than a guffaw. Interviewer always checks how confident you are and how much acumen you have inside. So be strong at this. After your interview or when the interview finishes, try handshaking with your recruiter such that both of you will be satisfied for the time spent. This was just a small video on how to make a resume and about interview tips. I'll make a detailed one on both of this topic in the coming videos. If you like this video, show some love in form of likes, comments, and please do subscribe. Let me know if you have got any doubts on my comment section. Let's meet up for the next episode. Until then, bye bye.